Hello, everyone. My name is Carly Wilson, and I'd like to share my approach to leadership and management and ideas related to student success. I'd like to first introduce myself and then dive into my response to the presentation prompt. Following a description of the function of the Student Success Center and a description of the Assistant Director for Academic Advising role, I was asked to share how I would lead a team to success while fostering an environment of growth. I was also prompted to include my definition of student success and provide an example of how I have facilitated growth and learning in a student success initiative. So this first slide is a little bit about myself. I find it important to build relationships with colleagues and learn more about individuals and what helps them thrive in a team. So I'd like to share some of my background and interests through the pictures on this slide. I'm currently a doctoral candidate in the Educational Leadership Program at UNCW. I've lived in 10 different states across the country, and this travel has really given me the opportunity to experience different cultures and the ability to work with diverse groups of people. My higher education journey started at Penn State University, which is an institution really steeped in tradition and history. My experience there influenced my interest in working on a vibrant college campus, and I had a great experience with my academic advisor, which piqued my interest in the field. After I graduated from Penn State, I worked in several different service industries before going back to grad school at the University of Puget Sound, where I started my graduate program in K through 12 counseling and then transferred to Old Dominion University for a higher education program. There, I led a staff of 11 resident assistants and managed a hall of 600 students. After that, I worked as a student activities coordinator at Pima Community College, but eventually found my niche in academic advising at Southern Utah University. And that's where I actually began my scuba certification, and now I'm able to dive for megalodon teeth off the coast of North Carolina. I have twin 15-year-old boys who at 6'3" are playing indoor and beach volleyball. And while indoor is not in my wheelhouse, I enjoy playing beach volleyball. And you can also find me getting Vietnamese at least once a week as my favorite comfort food. So the last picture on here is from a recent experience shooting skeet. And I included this picture to represent my interest in trying new things and how my approach to leadership and management involves trying new strategies to help improve processes and potentially even relationships with others. I subscribe to the idea that leadership is the process of influencing a group of individuals to achieve a common goal, while management often refers to the strategies implemented to make things work more effectively. As I mentioned earlier, I like to build relationships and establish trust, and I do this by leading with integrity and sharing my commitment to individual, team, and student success. Clear communication is a critical aspect of working with others to share information, avoid assumptions that might be made, avoid misunderstandings, and to provide clear expectations that promote equity. Building on individual and team strengths is also important, as well as recognizing effort and work in ways that team members like to be recognized. It's important to provide constructive feedback and a willingness to embrace difficult conversations when necessary. And those are some of the approaches I have to leadership and working with people and being effective with working with people. So when it comes to managing tasks, we can be more efficient with that, and I can help my team by providing consistency and a steady presence in the day-to-day management of the Student Success Center. I think it's important to identify pain points that are creating barriers to advisor and student success. As an example, I recognize there were multiple touches and emails needed to declare a student in interdisciplinary studies major for which I advise as the academic services advisor in the College of Arts and Sciences. And I worked with the registrar's office and IT to streamline this process to reduce the amount of work for the registrar's office and myself, and things are running much more smoothly. Managing schedules is important to ensure that the office can run smoothly while team members are tending to other responsibilities or maybe taking some time away. So making sure that there's coverage in the office and that students' needs are being met is important. As a current member of a small team, we communicate with each other regularly, and we actually have a matrix to determine time away and student worker coverage to make sure that the office can function as individuals are managing their own priorities. Effective communication also supports a clear understanding of the workflow, the different advising cycles, and responsibilities or mandates that might be taking priority over some other things. I also have 15 years of advising and coaching experience, 13 of those being at UNCW. So if I ever needed to step into that role, I could if necessary. So I incorporate different aspects of various leadership models into my leadership approach, using democratic leadership strategies to gather ideas and input from team members. I exhibit qualities of authentic leadership that involves an appropriate level of vulnerability that gives me the confidence to ask for help, seek feedback, and take responsibility for my mistakes. And considering the last several years between the impacts of Hurricanes Florence and Matthew, the pandemic, UNCW's shift to R2, a new chancellor, the retirement of Dean Hardy, when I think specifically about CHHS, and the ongoing search for a new permanent dean, I think it's also important to address my approach to leading during change and managing uncertainty and ambiguity. And I like to incorporate some of Bowman and Deal's framework to view change from these various frames or lenses. And so I think it's important to understand how this change may impact policy and procedure. From the human resource perspective, how it's going to impact individuals and their job satisfaction, how it's going to impact the presence of competing agendas or that political frame, and then the impact on established traditions or that symbolic frame. And really, all of these efforts are ultimately to support the missions of CHHS and the university, which are primarily focused on promoting student success and learning. So my definition of student success incorporates the individual experience while also taking into account accountability measures that have been heightened throughout higher education in recent decades. I believe that student access is when students can achieve their goals and maximum growth through access to and use of resources, encouragement, and information. And I can do this by supporting team members as they enhance their skills in working with diverse student populations. One way to do that is through sharing and encouraging professional development opportunities. Another is evaluating student needs and providing resources to help them achieve their goals. This can be done with current university data or by collecting and analyzing new information. Another way is by eliminating barriers that impede student success. I recently participated in conversations to examine and rewrite several UNCW regulations to enhance the student experience and reduce some of those barriers. I think appreciating different pathways to graduation by recognizing that many students need flexible options to pursue a degree. And having relevant and updated information plays a huge part in helping advisors work with students to understand their options. So the concept of student success has also been associated with certain metrics, right? Such as graduation rates, retention, and persistence, which also matters because the research indicates that individuals with higher levels of education earn more, pay more taxes, and are more likely than others to be employed. College education increases the chance that adults will move up the socioeconomic ladder and reduces the chance that adults will rely on public assistance. Having a college degree is associated with a healthier lifestyle, potentially reducing healthcare costs, and adults with higher levels of education are more active citizens than others and more involved in community activities. So, 2 student success initiatives where I've facilitated growth and learning were one, the development of the Academic Peer Mentor Program. The second was the creation of the Interdisciplinary Studies Virtual Orientation. So the first, while serving as the intervention coordinator in University College, I began collaborating with colleagues in the University Learning Center to reinvent a peer mentor program. There had been some version of it in the past, but we wanted to bring it back and enhance that. So after reading literature on the benefits of such programs to help students with motivation, learning strategies, and time management techniques, I recognized that we needed some additional student mentoring, specifically for students who were struggling academically, beyond the capacity and time of what university college advisors could provide. So the Learning Center trained the staff, trained the peer mentors, and I provided the student data and gathered information from advisors on their feedback for how we should implement this. And then we collectively established a process to connect students with peer mentors. And the program has been fairly successful, and it has evolved over the years and now serves more students university-wide. The other student success initiative I wanted to mention was the development of a virtual orientation for interdisciplinary studies students. The IDS major was designed to provide a flexible pathway to graduation for former UNCW students who had dropped out. So many were returning to the university after several years away and needed to be introduced to new systems and processes, or just needed to be reacclimated to them. So I supervised a graduate student who's actually in the healthcare administration program and had graduated in the interdisciplinary studies program. So she helped us create a virtual orientation course in Canvas. We met on a weekly basis. I provided guidance and support, really sought her feedback and used her expertise as a student who had just graduated from the program and had been through the experience herself. I provided contact information for specific people who could help her with the development of the Canvas course. I introduced her to the faculty in the program and colleagues in the Academic Resource Center so she would feel comfortable reaching out for video introductions and any feedback from an instructor's point of view. And The GA has since graduated, but she created a really solid orientation that is still in use today. So I hope to use these strategies to build on the achievements of the Student Success Center and help promote student success through leadership of the advising team.